Well, welcome back to the channel. So we're here in Tonbridge, well, near the village of Leigh, and what we're looking for here is the remains of what's left possibly of the old Leigh gunpowder works. The site was cleared, however, to make room for a housing estate, a new housing estate, but you can still get the gist where things are. But there's still, when I was researching it in online, there's still quite a bit here, and just walking through, and you come across things like this, which clearly is an old relic of those works, with especially with the riveting, the old ironwork riveting there, just sadly left to rot and decay in these woods. But there's a lot of the river and the canal from these works that run into the Medway just down the bottom of this hill. So I'm going to have a look, but most of the site was sat up where this housing estate is, but apparently there's still quite a bit here to find, but it's mostly reduced to ground level. I've already found in these woods, like I have on many of these walks, like the last video we put out, Lost House on the Hill, all around those woods there's bricks just scattered everywhere from the demolition work. But we'll have a good look round here. But this is a good sign to find this, as I say, to this is literally, we got out the car, parked up and walked across, did a few sort of shots, and I was starting to think, because a lot of it's private, have fenced off a little bit, but we're going to try and see how far down to the canal. It's not a canal with a canal boat, but it was used for bringing the gunpowder and supplies up to the works during, well, it was built here in 1811, so it served all sorts of wars, from the Napoleonic type of era, or just after that sort of era, to First World War and Second World War. But we'll get into the history of it later, because there's quite a bit of history on this place. And I might even do a second video if I get in touch with the local historic society, because they know where everything is, and I think I might need a guide on this one, because these woods look pretty sort of dense, and I just want to be walking around really, although that's part of the fun, but we shall see. So I just sort of looking at this, because I sort of a bit into my classic cars and that, I always look at and date something by the tyres, and it's always a good indication of what sort of tyre that is, when it was made, what type of brakes. But you can clearly see with the old leaf springs hidden away there in the mud, and again the rust and decay, the corrosion. But it's a shame. I mean, I know it's just a piece of metal to most, but those rivets, we haven't done riveting like that for quite some time, and you know this is sort of Titanic sort of stuff really. I mean, although the wheels are later and the chassis is later, it's not, I doubt it's that old, but to see that sort of ironwork and rivets all done like that is quite impressive, and a shame it's just left to be just lost forever. But this is the canal just running along down here, so we'll get closer. We're approaching the canal. But it's a strange terrain. You can tell there was a lot of, it's not like a terrain that you'd associate with a natural landform almost. You can tell this has been worked, because it's just too lumpy, bumpy. The trees are pretty spindly, so they're not that old, a few of them. But this is where you'll find stuff. a wall or foundation that gives you a pinpoint and you go, right, we're in the right place. I mean, that ironwork up there, it's, you know, the best thing I've found so far, but I suppose actually the best landmark is the canal itself. So here's the section of the canal that runs into the Medway, and the other side of it, if you look at the overlay, it sort of forks off, and it's like these sort of little tributaries that divert round. But I'd say we're going to keep going this way because there's a bit of a path I can find, just to rule out that there's anything left up here. But I think the majority of it is going to be in the other direction, heading back towards the housing estate. Although we're still heading sort of the wrong direction from where I want to be. We're having a look, only because there's a good half a reasonable path here that people have formed. This isn't really a proper woodland, you know, National Trust or anything. I believe ICI took over the site, but again, we'll get into the history a little bit further on, because it's an interesting history, and it's very, very vast, what this place was for, and you know, what it contributed to all the wars and conflicts this country's seen. But the reason why I want to keep, it's not that I'm not looking for people or like, or what was that, one of them videos. I keep looking and you think you can see something that's sticking out of the ground, and you think, oh, but going back to the reason why I'm going this way is purely because this is what happened when I did those last two videos, the house on the hill, and the reason why we did the second one, which I just called it the Devil's Ponds, you know, to give it some sort of interest and mystique or something. But I didn't walk that direction, that first video, the day of that, or even when I revisited, once I found out that there was a mansion house once upon a time there, and I didn't find those ponds. So once bitten, twice shy, you know, I've learned from that. So it just pays, sometimes it just pays to just go, okay, you know, everything is probably in one spot, but just out of curiosity push on somewhere else, because you just never know what you'll find. Well, what did I say? Trust your instincts. I could definitely tell you this, look at the old brickwork, but the old ironwork here, this is definitely part of the millworks. And it's such a shame there's some writing there, whether that's old graffiti, can't make it out, but you can just tell by its construction that this probably dated back to that period. Okay, so we've just crossed that bridge, which is definitely dated to that time period. We've just come out into these farmers' fields, but I've now just worked out where we are. I don't need to even do a map overlay, because in the distance there, behind this crane, that's the A21 flyover, and down over there is a footbridge, a pedestrian footbridge that leads over to the Haysden Lakes Country Park. So this is definitely a footpath coming up from there, leading up the side of the powder mills, the estate. But I'm going to veer off even more. This is exactly what I said. It's nothing to do with the powder mills, but I've spotted something in the corner. There he goes. Right. Well, look at that. I've been looking for this on maps because it's okay, it's just a pillbox, and they're all over the southeast and the south, you know, and up stretches of northern England, you know, to protect from an invasion from the German army. And they're all sort of standard designs. I know this, but I don't know it off by heart, but I have been looking up at this as a series of a walk from Tonbridge, because if you followed this path back over that bridge into Haysden Park, you go into eventually Tonbridge Sports Park, a recreation ground, and you can walk a line of these pillboxes. And this is one I wanted to see because I knew it wasn't sealed up. So let's have a bit of a look inside. Now, they weren't very big, but apart from the usual rubbish and decay of junk people bring in and bottles of drink, it's pretty intact, and you've got good vantage points all the way around. I was going to do, as I say, a video on these, but while I'm here by the echo of this place, but I can't imagine how loud it could have been. What I've noticed, is I like these little bits here where that's a gun rest to rest the gun in, and then fire out, perhaps. Oh well, I thought it was worth a quick look. Well, I'm about 6 foot, and that is a 4 foot entrance. So, okay, we're going to head back, but I thought that was worth taking a wander over as we're here. But from this vantage point, I now, going with another overlay, I can now pinpoint where this is. This is what I'm saying about landmarks. If you get a landmark, I know this is nothing to do with the powder mills, but because the powder mills in World War II, incidentally, were moved, I believe, up north. But that bridge gives me a pinpoint, and hopefully on a map I could find where that was and then trace back. But it'd probably be after I sort of leave here and sit down and edit this video. But it's just good to know. But there you go, it's worth pushing on up that path that I thought was going to lead me nowhere. Come on, you got to come back. Come on. Come on, Abby boy. Come on. Good boy, come on. That'll wash off that muck, a bit of it anyway. We're pretty much back to this spot. I'm going to see if we can find anything more, but at this point, unless I can get down that side, I think it's a case I'm going to have to contact the Historical Society, see if I can meet up with someone to talk about it and do a video. We have hit the jackpot on, well, I won't say we've hit the jackpot because I think that's further along, but we're the other side of that canal river, and there is this brick structure here. Well, I don't know what this was. This looks like a sluice. It's like a channel. Yeah, there's a sluice gate in there. I've seen that on a photograph, and it goes through to another chamber, which I'll see if we can get round to it, but I don't think there's much to see. And that lump up there is a tree stump. But this was obviously a sluice. You're taking from the canal we walked along through, and you can clearly see, I mean, it's all silted up, but would have run, spilled out into there, and then fed this overflow. I can assume it's an overflow. Right, that's the hill we came down. And we've gone up and down this path. That goes down to the houses where we turn around and come here. I've just crossed over from that, been in there, I'm wet now. We're back to the canal, and there is actually a little bit of a footpath along the ridge here on the embankment of this canal. So I can see the houses again, which I'm glad of, but I'm going to have to go a different route. Now my feet are wet, I think I'll go a different way now than all through this thick bramble, because the other thing is, these are earthworks. Don't know if there's shafts in there. That sluice, the lid on that sluice was solid. I did actually cross there, but there was a lot of bit with the bracken covered it, and yeah, you go down there, twist your ankle, break your leg, break your neck, you know, nobody know you're there, so I wouldn't advise it. So all the mill works would have been up in there, and we come to this bridge, and which, no, I'm not crossing that, I don't think, because, well, we'll see. I want to have a look at this. I might go around. I think in actual fact Navi's found a bit of a route down there. If I can find a path down there, I'll go round this. But here is, shame I wasn't walking from the other side, you can see big sluice, there's a big steel in there, and it drops off and goes down through there. Look at that. And there's a load of more rubble through there. We could see the said structure and bases of all the pumping mill, which is absolutely fantastic, still here. This is turning to a bloody nightmare. I'm having to cross about this creek like you wouldn't believe, and we're just in the climb down into the sluice. That bridge, don't even try it. Do not even try it, please. It should be here, but don't even try it. I'm going to walk across some tree logs, get up onto the other embankment on the east side of this canal system, and head on back up. But what a nightmare. This is the hardest I've worked for one of these videos so far. I'm sure it won't be the last, but it's just amazing to discover what's here. I don't think there's any video on this, but it's been enjoyable, but wet. Christ. So my last dog, we called him Indy, after Indiana Jones. I'll tell you what, that's exactly what this feels like. A bloody Indiana Jones adventure. More brickwork. Still got to get across this bloody creek canal. So this is again one of these cases where I keep sort of getting near to ending, and we're finding even more. And here's another little sluice that remains a lot smaller than the last one. It's a brickwork's fallen out into the canal, but it's still here. Incredible to find it. I'm so glad they never destroyed it all when they cleared the main site. Just a lot of brick and rubble under here, so I'm just being really careful. It was a structure there of some description. I'm heading back to the mound and back to the other canal, creek. Just coming up here, my instinct now is to look into these hollows, see what's over that ridge. And I think the way this is all dug out could have been part of the mining for the mill. But I say I'll put a lot of history up during the course of this film, because I'm not one really for script and remembering things, so it's just as easy to do that. Yeah, I'm now up from that, and the canal right down there at the bottom, it's quite a steep slope, that really muddy, but there's another clear rectangular dig out, and then along from that you can tell these are banked. There's another concrete structure, so this I think is part of the quarry that they mined, as I say, for the mill. But yeah, I don't know what that would have perhaps once been, but it's all out there if you have a look. So quite curious to these, they're all in a row, so man-made. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 just in front of me here, 5, 6, trying the autofocus, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 30, and they're all arranged. Now, are they trees that were pulled out? I don't know, but what they could have been for, but they're all in a row, quite possibly where trees were, but they look, I thought they might be stone brickwork under there, but I can't see anything. But this is definitely a dugout gully. But all that now is sits on the site of the old powder works. But if you enjoyed that, please like, share, subscribe, it really helps us out. Okay then, until next time.